one of the questions that we've received is, well, I think a lot of the overregulation and a lot of the patterns in our industry are driven by emotions, are driven by fear, and we tend to counteract them or respond to them with facts. So there are two different leagues who don't understand each other's language. How do we make ourselves understood? Because I believe there are rational people and emotional people on both sides.
I have a slightly different take on this. I actually believe that the public, in their fear of nuclear, is acting totally rationally. Because we've said every single plant needs $10 billion worth of extra safety equipment than an otherwise standard coal plant. Because we've said they have to be located so far away. Because we've said they have to have missile shields. We've convinced the public they have no choice but to believe that this must be so dangerous. Otherwise, why would we impose, us the experts, the government, why would they put so much extra regulations if it wasn't so dangerous? It's the nuclear industry's fault that people are afraid. They're not acting irrationally. We've done this. And the way to undo this is to do the opposite. Put the nuclear plants right in the middle of the city. Right? You want to convince people that there's no problem there? That's where you put them. Allow people to walk there, touch them, do tours. People won't be afraid then.
Realistically, it might be a little bit difficult to achieve, but we do know that people who live closest to nuclear power plants also show the highest appreciation and support for these nuclear power plants because they have access to information.
Exactly. I mean, it seems challenging, right? When I just said that, what was the reaction? The reaction is, I don't think so, right? But if we are brave, that is what will happen, right? If we are willing to do something that might seem counterintuitive, we will achieve the effect we desire.
Bret, a very practical question. How would Estonia, well, avoid overregulation? What is your top 10 things, top 3 things to do, top 1 thing to do?
I don't know, but I'm going to spend some time here and try to help you guys figure that out. This is too important. This is too important to let slide. I don't know if it's a conversation with the government, sitting down in the room with the Ministry of Environment or Energy or Infrastructure and just having a frank conversation, showing them that same teaspoon that I showed you. It doesn't take a nuclear physicist to come to the same conclusions that I did. I don't have a background in nuclear physics. I just met with the experts and talked to them. I was shocked also to find out that a meltdown of a reactor is actually no big deal, right? Chernobyl, different. Graphite caught on fire, spread things all around. But a meltdown, right? That's just metal melting down. It is no hazard to the public. And if I can understand that, then your regulators can understand that too.
A final question then. You say that nuclear power is the only viable way for carbon capture. And some observant people have pointed out, well, what about photosynthesis? What about natural processes for carbon capture? Have you considered that?
When I started the Energy Impact Center, I didn't know, it wasn't about nuclear. It was about climate change. I got pointed towards nuclear by the experts. The experts showed me the equations. They said, listen, here's the rate at which we need to pull carbon from the air. And if you were to, the first thing I thought, why don't we just plant trees in the Sahara? Well, that seems awesome. More forests, more ecology, great. But they showed me the calculations. And if you planted every square inch of available land with trees, that wouldn't make a dent in the amount of carbon that we have to pull out of the air. And those trees can only pull it out for 20 years as well. So the math just doesn't support natural biological processes. We've burned a lot of carbon over the last couple hundred years. We've burned the natural processes 100 million years worth of carbon capture in just the last couple hundred years. This is going to take technology, it's going to take ingenuity, and it's going to take bravery to pull us out of this mess. But I'm sure you guys can do it.
Thank you, Bret.
Thank you.